And a warm welcome to all from vk3sl, and we're commencing an afternoon program, a short afternoon program. We're featuring a few golden oldies, and we had a shorter issue last night, but it was certainly one to check up with on the log. So I'm getting a question here from further afield. I'll tend to that shortly. But anyhow, yes, we did have a late night missions last night, and I encourage people to have a listen in because we had B and a couple of uni friends, and they had some great selections to share. So we enjoyed that last night. It was good. Alrighty, I've got the channel open in case Frank's about, and we'll catch up with him hopefully soon. And what else? What other news? The reason I'm not going to hang around tonight is that it's my daughter's 21st, and we've got about, I think it's nearly 40 people coming over. So we're setting things up and making sure everything is party compliant. So that's the big plan, and I need to be available to assist in the home stretch there before everyone arrives around about 7 o'clock. So we'll just go to about 6 this evening. Okay, our 20s hit is a recording of Jack Shilkret's orchestra. This is EA 33, very early in the EA catalogue. In the electric, it's the 33rd electrical recording made. I don't know if it's strictly that case, but by the Gramophone Company. So very early days of electric recordings in 1925, and a recording of Jack Shilkret's band, and a really interesting record actually, which I think, check out the lyrics of this. These lyrics were really sort of quite on edge for that time. Quite challenged the popular imagination. that was Jack Shilkrit's band, not Nat Shilkrit, but Jack Shilkrit, who I think was a brother. I'm not quite sure, but I think that's the story. And you're listening to a test transmission from vk3sl, and we're spinning shellac for a little bit, and then we'll have to retire early. So usually share the chair with Mr. JR, but I'm not sure if he's with us today or not. But we'll continue now with our cavalcade of nostalgia, and this one is a recording of Leo Reisman and his orchestra. Recording made in 1934-ish. I think it's from the film The Gay Divorcee, and it actually features Fred Astaire on the vocals. Great little tune. I've got you on my mind.
I've got you on my mind, although I'm disinclined. You're not so hot, but I've got you on my mind. I'd thank the gods above if I could only love somebody not you, but I've got you on my mind. Let my poor upset pleasure be, otherwise my pet treasure be, then arrange to let pleasure be a bit less refined. For darling, not until I get that famous thrill will I be resigned. I've got you on my mind.
Fred Astaire and Leo Reisman and his orchestra there back in 1934. I think it's from The Gay Divorcee. It was the second of the films that Fred Astaire and Jim Rogers made. Yes, indeed, that's the case. The other side is Night and Day. Actually, this is beautiful. We'll play it because this record will return to the shelf for until it's rediscovered. So, yeah. This is a classic Fred Astaire tune, and the dance is just amazing. Those RKO films that they made were just out of this world. Okay, more Fred Astaire. I think this one might need a bit of a nudge.
the beat, beat, beat of the tom-tom when the jungle shadows fall, like the tick-tick-tock of the stately clock as it stands against the wall, like the drip, drip, drip of the raindrops when the summer shower is through. So a voice within me keeps repeating you, night and day. You are the one, only you beneath the moon and under the sun. Whether near to me or far, it's no matter, darling, where you are, I think of you. Night and day and night. Why is it so that this longing for you follows wherever I go? In the roaring traffic's boom, in the silence of my lonely room, I think of you. Night and day, under the hide of me, there's an oh such a hungry yearning burning inside of me, and its torment won't be through till you let me spend my life making love to you day and night, night and day.
Well, a subdued song, but classic nevertheless. And we heard Fred Astaire and Leo Russman, both sides of that record. In beautiful condition. These laminated Australian pressings always impress if they're in good condition. That's a big if. This next one's also a laminated Australian pressing, but I don't know about the condition. Something's been dropped on the record, and it's cracked on one side rather severely. I don't think it's even playable, but I want to hear it. And I probably have played it before because we have featured the music of Benny Carter. He was a jazz pioneer, born early in the century, and he lived to nearly 100. He lived right up to the 2000s. And he's one of sort of the jazz greats that sort of lived almost a century. He was an alto player with the likes of Johnny Hodges and others. He was one of the most influential. And he started off with the Johnson Paradise 10 in the 20s, and then became an arranger for Fletcher Henderson. I think he took over Don Redman's role. There's quite a bit of information about Benny Carter, but he was a fabulous musician and top-line player. We have him here with his all-star orchestra. This would be recorded probably in the 40s, late 30s maybe, and it's a track called Joe Turner Blues, and it actually features Joe Turner as the vocalist, but we're listening to Benny Carter and his all-star band. I was going to slap it on, and hopefully this record will play all right. It's not in the best condition.
You never miss your water till your well runs dry. You never miss your water till your well runs dry. You never miss your Turner until he said his last goodbye. They say Michigan water tastes just like cherry wine. They say Michigan water tastes just like cherry wine. And the reason I love you, baby, 'cause you so smelling fine. Have you ever heard the song I'm singing to you? Have you ever heard the song I'm singing to you? I'm a hip cat, baby, and we call it the Joe Turner Blues. So take it easy, Joe Turner's knocking on your door. Take it easy, Joe Turner's knocking on your door. You can tell the way he knocks that he's been here before. Joe Turner's knocking on your door.
Yeah, Benny Carter and his orchestra there featuring Joe Turner. In fact, the track was called Joe Turner Blues. And quite some beautiful embroidery from the alto sax behind the vocal there. And I've just noticed that there's been quite a few Fletcher Henderson tracks uploaded by Atticus Jazz. There's one of the YouTubers I follow who does unprocessed excellent uploads, big jazz collectors, and it's always interesting when they put up a new offering. They're very well heeled, should I say, with their collections. We'll hear now a track with Fletcher Henderson and his orchestra from 1930. This also features Benny Carter in the saxophone section in this instance, but it's a dynamic track. It's called Someone Loves Me, and there's nothing like the sound of Fletcher Henderson. I'm vk3sl.
Somebody loves me, and the times I wished I knew just who it could be. It worries me. Yes, ma'am, everyone pass me by. I shout, hey, maybe you were meant to be my loving baby, baby, baby. Somebody loves me, and I wonder who. Maybe promise you, baby, I don't know Papa got to see tonight. Oh, my, my, my.
A classic track of Fletcher Henderson and his orchestra from 1930. It featured Benny Carter and many others, including Russell Smith and Rex Stewart's on that recording. Who else? Coleman Hawkins. Yeah. It was a star-studded lineup. Fletcher Henderson, of course, arranged it and was the piano player. The other side of that was also uploaded, and it is worth a listen. This is sort of mid-era Henderson band. There's a whole strata of recordings made in the early 1920s, and of course those very influential discs with a young Coleman Hawkins and Louis Armstrong. Coleman Hawkins stuck with the band for a very long time. Louis moved on, of course, and did his own thing and became a major figure, but Louis did cut his teeth with Fletcher Henderson. But I'm going to play the other side, and this is a track called Chinatown, My Chinatown. Fletcher Henderson and his orchestra, recorded in 1930. That was a bit special, and we heard Fletcher Henderson and his orchestra there. They've left the record going. And, and did you hear that remarkable tenor sax solo by Coleman Hawkins there? He was on fire. He was really just frenetic. And it sort of foresees the next generation, really, and subsequent generations of more frenetic style of jazz. You hear it there in its intensity and its dynamic rhythm. It's all happening by 1930. Fletcher Henderson. Something quite different has also popped up on the list, and it's a recording of Jimmy Noon's Apex Club Orchestra Small Ensemble. And Jimmy Noon was a jazz pioneerist, very much at the coalface of the early days, very early days. And so he's seen as a major influencer, and as is Earl Hines, who he's dueling with here. But there were a few others in the band. It's an interesting record. I've played this before, but it's a new upload, and I think last time I played this I got a copyright strike, so I'm keeping my fingers crossed. Jimmy Noon's Apex Club Orchestra and Apex Blues. Back jazz from 1928, and you heard Jimmy Noon's Apex Club Orchestra with Earl Hines, and magnificent piano solo there. I love his inventiveness. He always had a curiosity, and he's sort of noodles, and it's interesting. Earl Hines at the keys. All right, what other interesting records have popped into our consciousness this week? Another one from 1936 featuring the celebrated entertainer Fats Waller. Enjoy.
for you. I'd even slave for you. I'd be a beggar or a knave for you, whatever that is. And if that isn't love, it'll have to do until the real thing comes along. I'd gladly move the earth for you to prove my love and its worth for you. If that isn't love, it will have to do, gotta do, until the real thing comes along. With all the words there at my command, I just can't make you understand. I'll always love you, darling, come what may. My heart is yours. What more can I say? You want me to rob a bank? Well, I won't do it. I'd sigh for you, yeah. I'd even cry for you, yeah. I'd tear the stars down from the skies for you. If that isn't love, well, skip it. It'll have to do until the real thing comes along. I'd even sigh for you. I'm about ready to cry for you. I'd tear the stars down from the sky for you. That isn't love. It'll have to do, baby. Yeah. Till the real thing comes along. Here's the real thing, baby.
Fats Waller in great form. Well, folks, I'm going to need to wind up operations fairly soon. There's a few things happening in my midst, and Frank's busy at his coalface too, so maybe we'll catch up with Frank tomorrow, but I will play something of interest, and I can share it with him in hindsight, in retrospect. And it is an interview from Voice of America Jazz Program. It's come up online, and it's sort of fitting to follow on from that Fats Waller, because Art Tatum identifies Fats Waller as being one of the most influential figures in his formative years. So here's an interview from Willis Colliver, in 1953, just 1 year before Art Tatum passed away. So Art Tatum gives this bit of biographical and some information about his tastes and his inspiration and his craft, and so well worth a listen. And I will send this file through to Frank because I know he would enjoy this immensely. So I'll play this now, and I might see if I can come back and just wind up at the very end, but I'm needed elsewhere, and I did listen to this morning. It is absolutely fascinating. I'm vk3sl. Thank you for listening.
Ladies and gentlemen, meet Mr. Art Tatum.
Hello, hello, hello. How is everybody?
Everybody is happy, Mr. Tatum, to be hearing your music. I would like to ask you how you feel the classical piano styles are paralleled in jazz piano styles.
Well, to try to answer that, let's see. I mean, to say this, I'll put it this way. You have quite a few concert pianists who study, no doubt, 3 or 4 hours every day, I'm sure, to rehearse for their programs. And the same thing happens with a jazz pianist. A good jazz pianist has to study also. And to prepare himself for a jazz concert, I'm sure that he... let's see, how's the best way to put this for you, because with me, it doesn't require as much practice as it does with some fellows, I guess, but usually about an hour and a half for me each day.
Well, who would you say, Mr. Tatum, are the great jazz piano stylists of this century?
Oh, my goodness, I couldn't begin to name all of the good pianists like Mel Powell, Teddy Wilson, Oscar Peterson, I could name Jess Stacy. Good night. I mean, there's so many good pianists around.
Well, who would you name as your earliest influences then, Mr. Tatum?
Well, for my earliest influences, I would say Fats Waller and Lee Sims were the two fellows that I think done most for me. Because, see, I'm a little older than Peterson and those fellows that I named. However, Teddy is around the same age I am.
Well, then perhaps since you have at least one Fats Waller composition in your recorded solos, you would like to introduce one for our Voice of America audiences.
Yes, I would, because I think Fats, however, he's been dead about 10 years now. Fats was, I guess I sort of leaned more or less toward Fats. It doesn't show in my playing, I don't think, in the starting, but I was more or less influenced by Fats Waller, and I thought Fats was a great musician. So I think we'll play one of his here now, his Jitterbug Waltz, a thing that he wrote just before he died.
Fats Waller's Jitterbug Waltz, played by Art Tatum. Art Tatum and the Fats Waller standard Jitterbug Waltz. May I ask, Mr. Tatum, whether you were thinking of Fats as you recorded that?
Yes, I was. I certainly was.
Generally speaking, how do you rate the act of a jazz man's creating new improvisations on the chord changes of other compositions? Do you regard it as creative, or more so than, or less so than?
Well, that's a sort of a tough question for me, because you got so many different types of pianists. I mean, you're going into something here that you find pianists who can't stretch as far as others, and other pianists who invert chords differently. And that's more or less a tough question for me. So I won't step in on that one, because I invert chords differently than other pianists, and I don't know just how to state that one. So I'll turn that loose.
Well, perhaps I can revise the question this way, Mr. Tatum. Wouldn't you say that a jazz musician is as genuinely creative when he originates new melodies on the chord changes of other songs as was the original composer when he wrote the song?
Oh, easily so. I mean, you getting into jazz piano and playing a good jazz piano, I mean, it's just as difficult as any concert pianist. And don't let anybody kid you about it.
Well, may I ask how much planning goes into your performances, Mr. Tatum, and how much of it is spontaneous improvisation?
I'm a pretty fortunate guy about planning, because I don't do too much planning. Most fellows do have to plan, and they set up arranged things. With me, I don't. The only time that we plan anything is when I use the trio. Of course, you've heard my trio, quite a few of you, I'm sure. Well, the bassist, Slam Stewart and Everett Barksdale, and from time it's changed to Tiny Grimes in the beginning. But the only time that I plan anything is with the trio, and we have very few rehearsals. So I don't do too much planning. However, when I plan for my own concerts or for solo concerts, I do that at home, and it's a very easy thing for me to do.
You do have a marvelous memory, don't you, Mr. Tatum? When you have played a performance, you can recall the position of each note, and if necessary, repeat the performance almost note for note.
Yes, I can at any time. Just about, I can play anything note for note. I have that happen to me quite often. People come in and they say, "Gee, I'd like to hear you play that just like the record," or either they'll say, "God, you played it just like the record. I didn't expect it," or either they'll say, "I used to get tired of playing things like I'd make a record and then people would come in and I wouldn't play it that way, and they'd say, God, would you play it like the record did? You didn't play it that way on the record." So, I mean, I can do it either way. It doesn't make any difference.
Well, thank you, Mr. Art Tatum. We're proud and happy to have had you with us on the Voice of America Jazz Hour today.
It's a pleasure to have been here. Thank you.
Now, Mr. Art Tatum plays T for Two. T for Two. You've been listening to the music of the man many regard as the world's greatest pianist, Art Tatum. Taboo, recorded by Art Tatum. And, Art, how many pianists did it take to make that record?
Oh, I don't know. I don't think but one.
Oh, it's unbelievable. I'm still Well, I still find it unbelievable every time I hear you play or see you play.
Well, it's a real pleasure to know that.
How many hours of recording does your current series of Clef albums represent, Art?
Well, truthfully, let's see. Willis, that should be, I couldn't say exactly because I don't know just how many records you have of mine up here.
Well, I have the 10-album series that Norman Graham's put out, the 12-inch album series on Clef, plus, of course, the one you made with Minnie Carter and Louis Belson, and some of your older ones, too. But I was interested in this current series that you did for Graham.
I'll tell you, let's see how to tell you the best way. We did all of those records in possibly, say, about 3 nights' work, because it was one night from about 9 o'clock until about 1 o'clock, one session, and the next session was around the same period of time. And then one or two sessions were done in the afternoon. However, the first night we cut about what you might, in the vernacular of records, I imagine you say, we cut about 100 sides the first night. Now you understand that's every master, you go straight down. I mean, there's no retakes. And then you can do that when you're playing piano solo by yourself, and you don't have to worry about anybody else. So you're playing completely by yourself, and with me, I can do that.
Well, that's a fabulous output, of course, quality-wise, but quantity-wise. All in one sitting, 4 hours of continuous playing. Is that right, Art?
That's right, and I think out of all of those numbers, I think I had about 1 or 2 retakes that I probably went over.
I'd be interested in having you explain once more why it is that when you record as a soloist, you often perform live with a trio.
I didn't quite understand you.
Well,
really.
On the records which I regard as your best records, and which possibly you do too, since you record them by yourself, you are playing as a piano soloist. But when you appear, for example, in clubs, you always have rhythm accompaniment.
Mainly, I think the reason for that is, I better put it this way, most people that come in a club to hear you play, I think they come for one particular thing, and that thing usually is something that they can pat their foot by, or something that they can keep the rhythm up, and it sort of lends to help the individual that's coming in to listen to the music. And some of the intricate things that are being done on the piano, it might not get across to him, providing you don't have the other 2 instruments there. And I think by having the bass fiddle and a guitar, sometimes it lends to help his taste. Or should I put it that way?
Well, you would also say, I'm sure that Slam Stewart, in addition to being a wonderful bassist for you, is a tremendous visual appeal as well.
I should say he is, and not only that, Slam is a great bass player, and also I feel the same way toward my guitar player, Everett Barksdale, in his own right, as a fine musician. I mean, I don't want to take anything away from them. However, the piano is my sole interest, and I do feel that in order to the public, I like to present a trio, and then I still play solo piano, too.
Well, when these men have worked with you as long as they have, I suppose there isn't too much of a problem in learning the arrangements that you make on the various songs you play.
No, it's not too hard, because we don't do anything too difficult, because I find that that's another problem. If you fix a trio that's too difficult for the people to understand, and sometimes it gets a little too difficult to play. So we try to keep it simple, and we keep usually the melodic lines. You can always understand what we're playing.
Well, Art, you have various favorite ways of playing various numbers, and I'm curious, when you prepare your arrangement of the number, the arrangement which you like to play best each time you play it. You must have a wonderful memory, because sometimes you put just the right piano run in the same place when you come back and play it months later.
Usually when it's the trio, it's usually set up a certain way, and we keep it that way.
I was referring to your own solo playing.
Solo playing, most of the time, certain numbers I have certain set patterns for them, and I'll tell you for the reason for that. Well, it's because I've had so many complaints. People used to come in and say, "Gee, I heard your record of such and such a thing 15 years ago, and you don't play it that way anymore." So I mean, consequently, I found that. They hear something on the record, the people, I don't know why, invariably they want to hear it the same way when they see you in person. With me, if any artist, anybody I ever saw, I've always wanted to see them do something different than what they've done on the record or whatever they've ever done. However, other people are, I don't know why it is, or whether they feel that this artist can't do that because he did it on the record, and they just want to see whether he can do it or not. But it's one of those things that it's a lasting impression with them, I guess, whenever you make that first impression. But with me, usually it's a routine thing. Whatever we set up on a record, I usually play it that way, or it's nearly that way anyway.
Well, this gets us to that interesting question of what is jazz, which I don't think has ever been satisfactorily answered. But let me ask you this way. To be jazz, must the variation be brand new each time, spontaneous, on the spot? Can you play things the same way twice and still satisfy a definition of jazz?
I think you can. In fact, I know you can, because I don't know of anybody in the world that could change an idea every time they got ready to play. I mean, you're bound to resort back to the same thing sometime or other.
Well, would a definition of jazz depend upon the interpretation involved, or upon the rhythm underlying the performance, or what, to satisfy your definition of jazz? I'm collecting definitions, so I'd like to hear yours.
Well, I tell you, I usually like to stay out of these things, you know. And in fact, I don't like to get too involved. But I don't truthfully, I won't speak on it.
Well, it's a question that no one has answered, I think, even to his own satisfaction. So forgive me for putting it to you.
Yes, I mean, that's a little rough.
Well, I know that you won't mind this question. You must have some new thoughts on favorite pianists that you've heard since the last time we spoke here.
There's so many good pianists, Willis Conover. I mean, it'd be a shame for me to just sit down and pick out two or three fellows to say that these are great pianists. I mean, there's so many good pianists in the United States that I couldn't. I just couldn't begin to name them all to you.
Well, are we close enough friends that I could put you on the spot and ask you if you had to select three of your favorite pianists and then add and many more besides? Perhaps you can put three in that category now.
Well, yes, I could name you 8 or 10.
Well, let's hear that then.
Well, I mean, there's a young kid in New York. Have you ever heard of a kid by the name of Dick Hyman?
Yes, I have.
He's a very good pianist. And of course, I'm sure that most of your listeners have heard of Billy Taylor.
Often.
And Ellis Larkin. And, there's quite a few boys out on the West Coast that play good pianos. There's a kid out there by the name of Harry Zone. I can't think of his name. I don't know whether he's dead now or not, but he was a great pianist. There's quite a few young pianists that are very good pianists. So, I mean, I can't think of them offhand now, but I mean, I get around all over the country, and I get in these different cities, and you run upon kids that you never hear of. And they're not all in New York City, mind you. They're scattered all over the country. So you've got just oodles of them. There's too many good pianists. I mean, it scares me. I mean, there's too many of them.
Oh, no. Well, you must know, Art, that you scare every pianist, too. And I won't leave a pause there because that implies you have to answer, and it's not something
No, I mean that it's something to think about anyway.
Have you ever satisfactorily explained how you arrived at, well, just to select one facet of your musical personality, how you arrived at your technique, which is, of course, the joy and the despair of every other pianist?
Well, satisfactorily, I don't know. I couldn't say that because I don't feel that I have all of the technical facilities that I would like to have. I mean, I'm not satisfactorily sure of that. That's one of the things I think that in years to come, I think a guy's technique gets better and better. He should. If he doesn't get better, then he should quit.
Well, Art, then suppose we discuss, since our listeners are outside the United States, discuss your previous trips outside America, and I understand there's a possibility of a new trip to Europe coming up soon.
Yes, I think we're definitely coming to Europe in around March or April, something like that. I'm supposed to go over for Norman Granz for about 6 or 8 weeks.
Do you know yet which countries you'll touch?
From what I can understand, I think we go to Sweden, Germany, France, Belgium, all of the countries I think in Europe practically, but England, and of course I'm sure we don't go into Russia or nothing like that.
Well, then here's a word for the listeners overseas. Art Tatum is on his way, and get those pianos in tune.
Yeah, that's correct.
Art, I'd like to, I think we will have a chance to speak a few moments more, but I'd like, before we do that, to return to one of your older recordings of Elegy, which you've recorded twice, is that right?
Yeah, the first one was done for Decca, and that was done, I think, around 1938 or 39.
Well, not to imply that you haven't progressed since that time, but I still feel that your recording of Elegy is not only your number one piano record, but the number one piano record. And I would like to play it now.
Thank you.
Art Tatum and his original recording of Elegy. That was Elegy by Art Tatum. And thank you, Art Tatum, for being with us again today.
Well, it was a real pleasure to come up, and I'm certainly glad you invited me up. I just want you to thank all of my friends in Europe, and I hope to be over there quite soon. Thank you again.
Well, how about that? That was something of a remarkable document there, with Willis Conover interviewing Art Tatum. Various interviews aggregated there. Unfortunately, we didn't get the audio samples with that, but I should mention that we have Elegy lined up to play as our final for today, and we'll hear this now, and we'll be back tomorrow. I think that's the plan, hopefully, and I'll forward this on to Frank because I know that would be of great interest to him. So thank you folks for listening. I'm vk3sl, and at this point we'll depart shores and we'll be back again tomorrow. Have a fab evening. I'm vk3sl.
Piano takes a classic and by a process of addition and subtraction dresses it in modern clothing. Mr. Tatum's interpretation of Massenet's Elegy.
Thank you.